Okay, where do I begin with this shit? I guess the obvious place is here. I have to assume that you know that song. But just in case you're too young, which is actually possible as I've been told that I can pass for as young as 25, and as such, my audience tends to skew a little younger. You might be more familiar with this version. Or maybe this one.
I'm blue, but used to be you and I, and you left me and now I'm...
Or this one. And fuck it, maybe you're so young that you're a literal baby. I'm not going to discriminate, though I do question your parents' decision to give you access to social media. And so maybe it's this version that you're more familiar with.
I am blue,
Regardless of your age, or mine for that matter, 28, the point is that you know that song by Italian Eurodance group Eiffel 65. It's called Blue, and it was a massive international hit back in 1999. And if you diversely aged bastards are familiar with my whole shtick, then you know I'm about to talk about just about everything there is to talk about other than that song. So, in 1983, yes, sorry, that's how far I'm going back for this one, a young Italian entrepreneur and record producer named Massimo Gabudi, who's definitely giving Tim Robinson vibes, finds luck producing and co-writing a mild hit in Europe with his Italo disco pop track Talk About, which was released under the name Fakes. Not a bad bit of Italo disco, honestly, and Fakes, or Faye, or Fakes, release a couple more one-off singles over the years, including my favourite of theirs from 1985, We Want Fame. And so, encouraged by the success of Talk About, Gabudi continues to jump between projects, studios and cities, earning a humble living, producing and writing songs for other artists, many of which never see the light of day, and many of which, personally, I wish never did see the light of day. That song, Laura Mary's Tell Me Why from 1990, is perhaps the most annoying thing I've ever heard. Okay, well, maybe not the most annoying, but I'll get to that a bit later. In my mind, Tell Me Why is a huge step backwards from Talk About, which was released 7 years prior, and this sadly sets a precedent for the remainder of Gabudi's career. IMHO, in my humble opinion. Anyway, tired of the endless travel and unorthodox hours that come with being a music producer, and seeking some stability in his life, Gabudi decides to set up a permanent space to work from in Turin, Italy, establishing what I would call a music factory / record label. Not unlike a startup incubator or an innovation lab, Gabudi went about sourcing local music producers to work 9 to 5 in his new multi-room studios, collaborating, cross-pollinating, and churning out as much garbage through the supply chain, down the conveyor belt, and onto a compact disc, cassette, or vinyl as they could, hoping that something would stick. The name of this new music factory? Bliss Corporation, or Bliss Co for short. My assumption here is that the business model over at Bliss Co HQ was, if as a Bliss Co employee using Bliss Co equipment or facilities, you write a hit record, Bliss Co takes a portion of the royalties for that hit. Unfortunately, my email request to Bliss Co asking if I could review their early producer employment contracts were ignored, so I cannot confirm whether this is actually true, but let's just ride with it. Now, it didn't take long for Bliss Co to find success under this model. One of their premier artists, the inventively named Bliss Team, came straight out of the gate with a Eurodance cover of Patti Smith's People Have the Power. Now, our good friend Gabudi is listed as producer on all Bliss Team releases, but he was not actually a member of the group. Bliss Team was comprised of DJ and producer Roberto Molinaro, keyboardist Domenico Capuano, and vocalist Gianfranco Randone, aka Jeffrey J. He looks a little familiar, right?
Yo, listen up.
I'm sorry to report that in digging through the Bliss Team discography, I found nothing particularly enjoyable or redeeming about their output. Jeffrey J's weirdly operatic vocal performances are kinda jarring against the Eurodance backdrop that I usually love. Yes, I'm delivering actual music criticism about Bliss Team right now. But the averageness of their output didn't discourage them nor the Italian public, who ate this shit up. The group continued their expert strategy of reimagining already proven hit records with state-of-the-art Eurodance aesthetics. A strategy, mind you, that is so effective that it is still being used by major labels across the world today. Bliss Team also released a few original tracks that, if paired with their music videos, do conjure some kind of nostalgic emotion in my stomach, but it's more one of mild interest than one of legitimate enjoyment.
Everybody hold on to love. Everybody hold on to love. Love is forever. You make me cry. You take me up, you take me down, and you bring me to the ground.
Now, I'm extremely saddened to inform you that Bliss Team parted ways in 1997, but under the watchful eye of Massimo Gabuti, who is still receiving a production credit on all of these works, Bliss Co, as a production house, continued to churn out Eurodance mush at record speed, like this thought-provoking remix of No Doubt's Don't Speak. I mean, if you think the amount of Suno AI music slop being fire-hosed onto streaming platforms right now is maddening, I implore you to work your way through the entire Bliss Co discography that was clogging up Italian pressing plants throughout the 90s. It just goes to show the music industry is the same clusterfuck of nonsense now as it always has been, and I'll fully tease that idea out a little bit later. But for now, we fast forward to 1998, and we get yet another release from Bliss Co. Jeffrey J is still putting in his 9 to 5 at the music factory, jumping between rooms and projects and putting his funk on it, when he collaborates with Bliss Co co-owner, Gabuti's business partner and money man, Luciano Zucchet, on this admittedly dope funky house track, The Groovy Thang, which I remember from the Fatboy Slim Live on Brighton Beach compilation album. And this is the first time we hear Jeffrey J jump between his weirdly operatic deep register to his almost unrecognisable, nasal, synthetically treated auto-tune-like vocals which would soon be annoying people the world over. In that same year, as the incubator that was Bliss Co continued to propagate a weird incestuous melding of sounds from the in-house DJs, producers and vocalists working there, something happened that I think Gabuti had been trying to brute force into existence ever since that first taste of success back in 1983 with Talk About. 3 of his employees cobbled together this. Fuck, now I have to say something about Blue. I mean, I get it. It's a pretty and catchy piano line. And the vocals are stupidly intriguing.
I have a blue house with a blue window. Blue is the color of all that I wear.
And honestly, I think this is the first time that anything out of the Bliss Co offices actually hit that emotional nerve that I demand of my Eurodance music. Insane that it took that long, really. And of course, Mr. Gabuti himself got his usual producer and songwriter credit, as far as I can tell, for suggesting that the chorus used the universal language of Ba Dee, Ba Dee.
You know, the Ba Dee thing came in from Massimo. He goes, why don't we just don't use words here and put in something that is so international that anybody can sing it?
So that came my contribution, which is something that can be sung by a kid or can be sung by a crowd of football fans. They trust me, I don't know why.
I mean, get your bag, my man. Did I pull that off? But this is kind of where the whole running a music factory endeavor gets messy. Like, you've got all kinds of people running around moving songs in and out of different studios. This guy writes some piano, that guy writes some lyrics, that guy pays the rent and has a contract that says he owns a percentage of all recordings, speculatively. And another guy comes in and reworks the arrangement. Who gets paid? And who is actually in the band, which had been named Eiffel 65? Although, side note, the 65 part of that name was a typo. Apparently the beginning of a phone number that had been scribbled on the same post-it note which was delivered to the in-house graphic designer who was working up the single artwork at the time. Off the unprecedented success of Blue, it became apparent to Bliss Co and the 3 employees who had tangibly touched the song, Jeffrey J, Maurizio Lobina, and Gabri Ponti, that there would be more milk in that particular cow. And so rather than move on to the next piece of fucking trash on the Bliss Co conveyor belt, Eiffel 65 set about writing a whole album which featured semi-successful hits such as Too Much of Heaven,
Too much of heaven can bring you underground.
Move Your Body,
Move your body, everybody. Move your body, come on now, everybody.
the worst song I've ever heard, which is ostensibly just a list of PlayStation games that Jeffrey J owned,
Tekken 3, Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil, Gran Turismo.
Actually, that is in close competition with Hyperlink, in parentheses, Deep Down,
I wanna click, I click to your heart, a hyperlink into you, a sexual browser from here to the end, a news group one-on-one.
and a couple of high-profile remixes.
You and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals, so let's do it like they do on the Discovery Channel. Do it again now.
Get down on it, come on then, get down on it, you really want it.
Look, I can't lie, their mellow mix of Je t'aimais by Serge Gainsbourg and Jane Birkin is a slice of Balearic success. But not satisfied with all of this, audaciously in my opinion, the trio wrote, recorded and released a second album, which failed to generate any international hits. But I will go to bat for portions of this song, which, if you imagine it's not by The Blue Guys, kinda goes in a 2002 French house sort of way. And you also have the single 80s Stars, which I don't actually mind. The song samples Italian music legend Franco Battiato's 1981 hit Centro di Gravità Permanente.
Cerco un centro di gravità permanente che non mi faccia mai cambiare idea sulle cose, sulla gente. Avrei bisogno di
The vocal from which kinda sounds sick auto-tuned.
cerco un centro di gravità permanente che non mi faccia mai cambiare idea sulle cose, sulla gente. Avrei bisogno di
And so please, can we all just take this moment as your sign to go and listen to one of Franco Battiato's most wonderful pieces, Sequenze e Frequenze from 1973.
mattino improvviso il sereno mi portava un profumo di terra.
I wish that I could just play the full 17 minutes to you right now, because it's impossible to do it the justice it deserves here and now. But if there is one thing you take away from this video, it should be that you need to smoke a massive blunt and put this record on. But back to Eiffel 65, Bliss Co, and the ever-persisting Massimo Garbutti. Eiffel 65 did release a third album before the shit inevitably hit the fan. But I'm sorry, I just couldn't fucking bring myself to listen to it. You can call me a hack for not doing my research, and I both wouldn't blame you, but also wouldn't be bothered, because it's the price of admission to the I didn't have to listen to the third Eiffel 65 album club, and that's a club I desperately want to gain membership to. So there it is. Eventually, Eiffel 65 fell apart for all the normal reasons you would imagine, likely stemming from the music factory / collaborative environment that their big breakthrough single was incubated in. One such reason appears to be that 2 of the members dispute who the real father of the song is.
I wrote Blue with Jeffrey and Massimo. So we are the fathers of that song.
I never thought I was the father of the song. Of course, on the other side, if you take a look at the first record of Blue, and I mean, with the original credits, it bears my name. So, I mean, it must be a reason why.
To be honest, it all sounds like an episode of Maury Povich to me.
In the case of 2-year-old Darjavian, Tristan, you are not the father.
But the nuance here is that Maurizio, who claims to have written the bulk of the instrumental, can't actually remember what collaborator Gabri Ponti added to the song.
If I have to tell you one details that I remember that he changed in the version, I don't remember.
It seems that Gabri was more responsible for the arrangement than the production and writing. And I'm sure that's caused all kinds of shitty financial issues for the two over the years. I could have told you this would eventually happen, but I wasn't there to stop it. Shout out to Vice Media, by the way, for the very entertaining documentary they produced specifically on the topic of Blue. I encourage you to check it out on YouTube, and I dare say that will be the only time I sing the praises of Vice Media LLC on this or any other channel. But I digress. You now know the story of Bliss Co and how brute-forcing creativity can result in an annoying worldwide hit and a fractured male-Italo relationship. Worth it in my opinion. But you know what? I still haven't gotten to the main reason I brought all of this shit up to begin with. The thing that originally sent me down the Bliss Co rabbit hole. What I actually came here to talk to you about.
I wanna be firework, so I can be there at home.
More absolute garbage from Bliss Co. I remember seeing this music video as a kid when it first came out, and even then thinking, are you fucking kidding me? No, I'm not buying this crap. Now excuse the editorialization here, but the way that I interpret the 2000 release of I Wanna Be by the Zorotal Project is that the bigwigs back at Bliss Co HQ wondered to themselves, what if the lightning in a bottle that was Blue Ba Dee was not the catchy melodies, was not the emotive piano line, was not the obtuse lyrics, but in fact, the Blue phenomenon was at least partially owed to a worldwide demand for more of the low-poly, poorly animated CGI alien from the Blue music video, and a yearning to know about the many trials and tribulations it would face in the exciting world of space travel. So Bliss Co gave the Blue alien a name, Zorotal, way too much lore, and a debut single. I'm imagining the excitement on Gabootie's face as he realizes that this could be the beginning of something big. Bliss Co Media, the new animation arm of his already hugely successful music factory. Not only would his company churn out garbage music, they would soon be making 3D animated films, merchandise, augmented reality experiences, mobile games. Well, this is my read of the release of I Wanna Be by Zorotal Project anyway, which is yet another piece of slop generated from the utter mind freaks over at Bliss Co. I can't even be sure who at the company wrote this song. I mean, it sounds like we've got Jeffrey J on vocals here, but the many sources I've checked to get a comprehensive understanding of who happened to be in the Bliss Co offices that week are inconclusive and contradictory. And at this point, I don't actually care anymore. I've become too distracted by the egregious attempt at world building found in the music video, which introduces like 7 CGI blobs as characters who ostensibly have desires, motivations, and emotions that I'm supposed to become invested in so that I buy into the Zorotalverse. I'm equally delighted as I am confused by the still active Zorotal.com website, with many dead links which purport to lead to things like Rio Moko Games, whoever the fuck that is, or this weird tiny JPEG which is simply subtitled Augmented Reality, which when clicked leads to yet another dead web page. And pages of backstory, character profiles, wireframes pulled from the animator's project files, and on and on. It's both wonderful and truly fatiguing at the same time. I mean, have a listen to this. Zorotal appeared for the first time in the video of the first single of Eiffel 65's Blue. It was the song Blue that influenced the idea to paint his skin blue. In the beginning, the character of Zorotal was supposed to be the malicious one, but since he came out with a funny round physique, the authors of the video, Blue, liked him a lot. So, to make him appear lovely, the authors changed the script, giving a happy ending to the story. Now he is a protagonist, taking the role as lead singer communicator and captain of Bliss Co's new project, I Wanna Be, by the Zorotal Project. And look, I am taking a bit of pleasure in the bad translation work here. As someone who can only speak one language, I'm in no position to poke fun. But I will continue all the same. But Zorotal this time doesn't come alone. His crews and him are in command of a galactic starship, the spaceship Adizak, which travels to accomplish the mission of exploring musical forms of communication inside of the galaxy, attempting to discover through music a universal language. Universal language indeed. So I bet you wonder, in this day and age, when the margins on selling music have all been fiercely cut into by the streaming era, in an age where continuing to brute brute force your way into another international hit at your Italian music factory comes with much lower fiscal reward than back in the early 2000s, when you could sell little plastic discs for a markup of about 800% per unit. How have Bliss Co fared? You can see where I'm going with this, can't you? Before I get to the obvious, let me hit you with the unexpected. It seems that the Bliss Co studios/offices have diversified. No longer just known as Bliss Co, they also operate under the name Bliss Co Working. Bliss Co-working was born within the record label Bliss Corporation, and is therefore naturally a vibrant, creative, and stimulating place. The available workspaces combine privacy and the possibility to create synergies, making it the ideal place for the success of your business. Not gonna lie, if I ever find myself in Italy, I will be hiring a desk here, for the history, and to chill out in the relaxation area, enjoying some free water. This place almost seems too good. Look, they even accept packages too. But back to the music side of their business. What's a cost-effective way to continue to brute force music into the industry as fast and frequently as you can, in the hope that one of your many slop releases ends up paying out big? With another international hit, you might find yourself with the kind of cash to add a few more hot desks to your co-working space, or hell, increase the cleaning routine to twice daily. The answer is obviously use AI, and don't stress, Bliss Co are on it and have been since 2017, when they signed It's No Real. Perhaps pronounced It's a No Real, which is described on their website as being a DJ with an artificial intelligence and a posse of nerd programmers whose mission is to explore strange new worlds and to look for new sounds and civilizations. It's No Real, parentheses Leonardo, rarely speaks about himself. For now, all you need to know is here. He's a trained musician, a DJ, a 19-year-old computer science student with a small brother and a male and a European citizen. Not entirely sure what that last part is about, but fine. And let's have a quick look at the Bliss Co YouTube page, shall we?
Time hits different, yeah. When you're around, yeah. Time hits.
Oh God!
No, I say it, can't explain it, can't explain it.
Oh man, and now I've looked at the It's No Real website. Who is head of world building over at Bliss Co? They are clearly back on their bullshit with this project. Do yourself a favor and do not read the fake interview on their website unless you want to suffer a brain aneurysm. Okay, I simply must stop now. I look forward to seeing how Bliss Co fare as they move forward on the exciting fringes of AI-generated music. Maybe they will have another Blue on their hands. I don't know, it's a slightly interesting idea. I'll be watching on, curiously, to see what Massimo Gabudi does next, and admittedly, I will be returning occasionally to that first taste of success which set this whole thing in motion. Talk About by Face. Because, begrudgingly, it's a bop.